I never thought my life would turn into one of those twisted true crime stories you binge on Netflix. You know the kind, where the person you trust most stabs you in the back, literally or figuratively. But here I am telling you mine. My name's Mike and I thought I had it all. A beautiful wife, a steady job as a mechanic, a cozy house in a sleepy Ohio suburb. The American dream, right? Wrong. My wife Sarah was secretly plotting to turn that dream into a nightmare. She wanted me dead in what she'd call a freak accident. Also, she could cash in on my life insurance and skip town with her sleazy lover. This is my story, how I uncovered her betrayal, survived her deadly scheme, and turned the tables in a revenge so sweet it still gives me chills. Buckle up, it's a wild ride. Let me take you back to the beginning, or at least what I thought was our happy beginning. Sarah and I met in college back in Cincinnati. She was studying marketing, all bright-eyed and ambitious. I was the gearhead tinkering with engines in the auto shop program. We hit it off over cheap pizza and late-night drives. 5 years ago, we tied the knot in a small ceremony, nothing fancy, just family and friends. We moved to this quiet suburb outside Columbus, Ohio. Houses with big yards, kids riding bikes, the whole 9 yards. I landed a job at a local garage, fixing up everything from minivans to muscle cars. Sarah worked from home as a social media consultant, always glued to her laptop or phone building her brand. Please comment below from which city you have watched. Subscribe this channel if you like this video. If you small comment matters a lot. To the outside world, we were picture perfect. Weekends were barbecues with the neighbors, game nights with couples from church, and cozy evenings binge-watching shows on the couch. I'd come home greasy from work and she'd greet me with a kiss, saying, "My hero's back." But looking back, there were cracks, small ones at first. She'd stay up late working, but I'd hear her giggling on the phone. Her wardrobe changed, sexier outfits, new lingerie I never saw her wear for me, and the arguments. They started over nothing, money, chores, why I worked so much. I chalked it up to stress. Hell, I even surprised her with flowers once, trying to reignite the spark. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Then came the insurance policy. About 6 months before everything went to hell, Sarah sat me down at the kitchen table. "Mike," she said, her voice all sweet, "we need to think about our future. What if something happens to you?" She pulled out papers for a $2 million life insurance policy on me. "It's for security," she insisted. I signed without a second thought. Why would I suspect anything? She was my wife, my partner, but that policy wasn't for us, it was her ticket out. Her escape plan with Derek, that smooth-talking real estate agent she'd met at some networking event. I didn't know it yet, but Sarah was dreaming of beaches in Miami, fancy cars, and a life without my boring ass holding her back. I was blind, folks, completely oblivious. While I was under the hood of cars all day, sweating my butt off, Sarah was weaving her web. She'd complain about our life being stuck in neutral, how we never traveled or lived large. I'd promise we'd save up for a vacation, but it was never enough. Little did I know, she was already planning her solo adventure funded by my death. It's a Tuesday just like any other. I woke up at 6 a.m., showered, scarfed down some eggs Sarah made. Funny how she was extra nice that morning. "Drive safe, honey," she said with a peck on the cheek. I headed out in my old Ford F-150, the one I'd rebuilt myself. The commute was routine, past the strip malls, onto the highway, then that winding back road to the garage. But as I approached a sharp bend, you know, the one with the steep drop-off, I hit the brakes for a deer in the road. Nothing. The pedal sank to the floor like it was made of butter. My heart jumped into my throat. What the? I pumped the brakes frantically, but the truck just accelerated down the hill. I yanked the emergency brake, screeching tires, smoke everywhere. The truck fishtailed, clipped a guardrail, and plunged into a ditch. Bang, airbags exploded, glass shattered. I blacked out for a second. When I came to, my head was pounding, blood trickling from a cut on my forehead. The truck was totaled, front end crumpled like a beer can, but I was alive. Shaken, I crawled out, called a tow truck in the garage to say I'd be late. As I waited, I inspected the damage. That's when I smelled it, a sharp chemical tang from the brake lines. Fluid was leaking, but it wasn't brake fluid. It was eating through the hoses like acid. I'm no idiot, I've fixed hundreds of vehicles. Brakes don't fail like that unless someone's tampered with them. My mind raced, who, why? I got home that evening bandaged up and Sarah was all concerned. "Oh my God, Mike, what happened?" She hugged me, but it felt off, cold. That night while she was in the bath, I grabbed her phone. Password was our anniversary, stupid, right? There they were, text to Derek. "It's done, the brakes should fail tomorrow, can't wait to be free. Love you, baby." Miami, here we come. My world shattered. My wife, the woman I vowed to love forever, wanted me dead, for money, for him. I felt sick, betrayed doesn't even cover it. Rage boiled inside me, but I held it together. If I confronted her now, she'd deny it, play the victim. No, I needed proof, solid evidence to bury her. That's when I decided to fight fire with fire. I played the part of the clueless husband perfectly. "Just a freak accident," I told Sarah, shrugging it off. "Truck's old, stuff happens." Inside, I was a volcano. I set up those hidden cameras, tiny things from Amazon, motion activated with audio. Cost me a couple $100, but worth every penny. I watched her like a hawk remotely from my phone at work. And boy, did she slip up. 2 days after the crash, Derek showed up while I was at the garage. The cameras caught it all, them on the couch, her in his arms. The brakes didn't work right, she whispered, frantic. He survived, what if he suspects? Derek, that smug bastard, laughed. Relax, babe, we'll try again, maybe a slip in the shower or poison in his coffee, make it look natural. She nodded, tears in her eyes, but not from guilt, from fear of getting caught. I just want the money, Derek. We deserve better than this dump. Hearing that, it fueled me. I dug deeper, hacked into her email, easy since she used the same password everywhere. Bank statements showed secret transfers to Derek, hotel receipts from business trips. I even followed her once, tailing her car to a motel where they met, snapped photos from afar, but I needed more than that for the cops. So I went to the police station, met with Detective Ramirez, showed him the break photos, the texts. This is serious, he said, eyebrows raised. Attempted murder. But we need her to incriminate herself further. That's when the plan formed, a sting operation. My revenge wasn't just about justice, it was about making her feel the terror, the helplessness I felt hurtling toward that ditch. We brainstormed for hours. I suggested the cabin, my uncle's old place in the woods about an hour out, isolated, perfect for her to think she could finish the job without witnesses. I told Sarah casually over dinner, hey, got a work gig up at the cabin this weekend, fixing some plumbing for extra cash. Her eyes lit up, just a flicker, but I saw it. That night the cameras caught her texting Derek, he's going to the cabin alone, perfect opportunity, gas leak. He replied, I'll bring the tools, make it explode like an accident. Hook, line, and sinker. I wasn't at the cabin that night. I was in the police van watching live feeds with Detective Ramirez. Heart pounding, I saw them arrive. Sarah looked nervous, glancing around. This place is creepy, she muttered. Derek shushed her, started tampering with the gas stove, loosening fittings. One spark and boom, no more, Mike. She giggled nervously. That's when the team moved in, doors flew open, lights blinded them. Freeze, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder. Sarah's face priceless. She collapsed, sobbing. Mike, how? Derek cursed, fighting the cuffs. I stepped out then, facing her through the chaos. How? Because I'm not as dumb as you thought, Sarah. Her eyes widened in horror. The cops read them their rights, hauled them away, but I wasn't done. With the detectives okay, I leaked the bodycam footage to a true crime blogger. By morning it was viral. Ohio wife's deadly plot busted in dramatic sting. Comments poured in, what a monster. Karma served cold. Sarah's perfect Instagram life shattered. Friends unfollowed, family disowned her. The trial was quick. Evidence was overwhelming. Texts, videos, the tampered brakes analyzed by forensics. Sarah and Derek got 15 years each for attempted murder and fraud. The insurance company sued her for deceit, leaving her penniless. As for me, I divorced her from behind bars, sold the house, pocketed the proceeds, moved to a quiet spot in Kentucky, started my own garage. Life simpler now, no more blind trust, but that rush of revenge, it's addictive. Knowing I made her regret every lie, every plot, that's my closure. Looking back, I see the signs I missed. The distance, the secrets, but betrayal like that, it changes you, makes you stronger, wiser. If you're watching this and something feels off in your life, trust your gut, dig deeper. And remember, revenge isn't always about violence, sometimes it's about exposing the truth and watching the guilty squirm. Sarah wanted me dead, instead she killed our marriage and her freedom. Me, I'm alive, thriving, and yeah, a little wiser. Thanks for sticking with my story. It's raw, it's real, and if it saves one person from a similar hell, it's worth it. What's your wildest betrayal tale? Drop it in the comments below. Hit that like if you felt the justice, subscribe for more heart-pounding revenge stories, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay vigilant, folks. You never know who's plotting behind your back.